Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a exciting video that I'm excited about. So I want to talk about 10 of my best and favorite bread and butter brands. So bread and butter brands are just brands that are commonly found wherever you source. So that could be thrift stores, it could be garage sales, flea markets, any place that you source your inventory from. Items that are by brands that you can find pretty frequently, and they're items that don't sell for a super high sales price, but they sell consistently and they can still make you a lot of money. So I am what I would consider a volume seller. So I do not go out and find Gucci and all these brands that sell for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? So I live in a town in Oklahoma, and so I am not finding those things on the daily. So I have found brands that are readily accessible to me and they make me money. So that's obviously what we're doing as resellers, but I can pick these brands up for relatively inexpensive. And while they don't sell for a super high price, they sell consistently, they sell pretty often, and some of these things can sell for a little bit higher. And so I kind of sorted these of the top 10 brands that have sold the most for me in the year so far of 2023. So these are brands that I have sold quite a bit of volume of, which you're gonna see here in a little bit. And I ended up sorting them by the average sales price for that brand. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that brand, what I know about it, and how many items that I've sold by that brand this year, as well as the average sales price. So I sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. So those sales prices are across all three platforms. I will tell you some of the things that I find sell the best, like what type of clothing, what category of clothing for myself, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, so number one is probably not a surprise. I talk about it a lot on this channel. I typically pick it up in lots of my hauls, and it is a brand that I am becoming a little bit more picky on. However, I'm still finding it in abundance typically. So number 10 is Torrid. Torrid is a plus size brand. So they do carry a size 00 and 0. They use vanity sizing. So that's typically equivalent to a medium large. So they do have some smaller sizes. However, the main sizes that they do carry and typically are selling is 1X all the way up to a 6X. They do only sell women's clothing. They unfortunately don't sell men's clothing. I think men's plus size and big and tall just in general. My husband's very tall. So I think that is kind of lacking. So if you guys are aware of any big and tall brands that sell well for you, make sure to put them down in the comments below. But I find that dresses, outerwear, and also anything pop culture. So different TV shows or different kind of pop culture references, different brands. They have a lot of graphic t-shirts with these things on them. Those categories have sold best for me with Torrid items in 2023 so far, and that would be January through end of month October. I have sold 121 Torrid items. So I would definitely say it's definitely a volume seller for me. My average sales price is $21.72, which I think is great. That's over $20 average per item. And like I mentioned, outerwear, dresses, those items sell typically for more retail. And so you're gonna get a little bit more resale for them. All right, so number 9 is the Free People, We the Free kind of brand conglomerate. This also includes Free People Beach, Intimately Free People, I think there's a couple others that I'm also forgetting, but they have quite a few different like lines within the Free People brand. Dresses and more kind of unique items with unique prints have sold pretty well for me in the past. I have sold 40 items under that kind of Free People umbrella. My average sales price was $22.98. Now, this is one that I am a little bit pickier on, as well as Torrid. I try to pick up more kind of substantial pieces if I'm picking up at a thrift store. If I'm picking up the bins, I'll pretty much pick up anything as long as it's in good shape. But at a regular thrift store with thrift store prices, I am a little bit pickier on it. Hey guys, so editing Kami here. I realized I completely did not tell you guys how many items I've sold under the Free People umbrella and how much the average sales price was. So I have sold so far in 2023 40 items, and my average sales price was $22.98. Number 8 is another kind of umbrella brand, which is Anthropologie. Anthropologie has a ton of different lines under it, more than I could even list, but some of the ones that have sold pretty well for me in the past is Maeve, Pilcrow and the letterpress. There's also now just Pilcrow, which I think Pilcrow and the letterpress typically is jeans, and Pilcrow is like other things like tops and jackets and things like that. There's Moth and Daughters of the Liberation. Those are some of the main ones that I have sold in the past, but there are so many out there. I would definitely recommend going to Anthropologie's website and looking at their brand list just to get familiar with some of those brands, because they don't all say by Anthropologie on them, and you might pass them up if you don't think that it's something that you know. So under the Anthropologie name, I've sold outerwear, dresses, and pants/jeans, like I mentioned, Pilcrow and the letterpress. Those have sold very well for me in the past. And under the Anthropologie brand, I have sold 71 items, and my average sales price has been $24.01. Number 7 is a favorite of mine. I am pickier with it, as I'm probably mentioning on a lot of these, just because my thrift stores are increasing their prices, and they have been over the last couple of years. But this brand, I will typically only pick up items that have been created in the last like 4 to 5 years, and that is Athleta. So with Athleta, unless the tag is cut out, it will tell you the season and the year that it came out in. So I try to only pick up items that are 2020 and newer. However, occasionally, depending upon the item, I will pick up 2018 and 2019 items, but I really try to stay away from anything 2017 and back. So I really like selling their pants, and not specifically their leggings, but they're more athleisure items. So they're joggers. They're more substantial pants that you can go hiking in, and not necessarily their workout gear. Those have sold really well for me. And in total this year, Athleta items I have sold was 145 items, which is insane. My average sales price for this brand is $24.69. So we're almost at that $25 mark. Number 6 is Madewell. So Madewell, I believe, does make men's pieces, but I think I've only found one Madewell men's item before. So most of what I sell is the women's pieces. I tend to pick up the sweaters and the dresses, and in particular, as well as Athleta, I try to pick up things that are 2020 and newer. With Athleta, Madewell, you can typically find their listings online and find information about the style if it is newer. So I have sold only 23 Madewell items this year. However, my average sales price has been $26.51 on those 23 items. So I would consider it a pretty good bread and butter brand. Number 5 is Patagonia, or Patagucci as some resellers call it. I absolutely love Patagonia. I have some items, my husband has some items from Patagonia, and they're very, very, very good quality. And while they're very, very expensive retail, you have to be a little bit careful of what you pick up if you're wanting to get a very high sales price. So their tanks, their dresses, their very basic t-shirts don't really go for a whole lot. So I typically try to pick up their outerwear, their pants, and their shorts. Those typically sell the best for me and for the most. So with Patagonia, I've sold 35 items so far this year, and my average sales price was $26.71. All right, number 4 is a category of clothes that is not a typical category of clothes. It is more of a specialty category, but I do find it often, and that is Figs. So Figs is a nursing medical scrub uniform brand, but it's very high quality, and it's very well known in the medical industry as being, I think, a very well-known and pretty good quality brand. I know I've seen some of my like dental hygienist at my dentist office wear it. I've seen people in all sorts of medical offices wear it as well. So I have sold pretty much men's, women's, any style you can think of. But the ones that have sold the most for me are the jogger style pants, as well as maternity. They make maternity scrubs. Makes sense. Pregnant women work as medical professionals too, but those have garnered the most for me. So I have sold 27 FIGS items this year, and my average sales price is $27.03, which is really good in my book. All right, number 3 is the brand Kuhl, Kuhl. It's another outdoorsy wear brand, and so very similar to Patagonia. I pick up their outerwear and their pants. Those are what has sold the best for me, and they're really good quality, and I have picked up both men's and women's. I haven't noticed one selling better than the other, so I typically will pick it up as long as it's a good price. I sold 16 Kuhl items this year with an average sales price of $27.79. All right, this next one is number 2, and honestly, I kind of expected this to be number 1, but something ended up pushing it out of number 1 spot, and we will get into that here in just a second. But number 2 is Lululemon. So I still get excited when I find Lululemon. I love listing it. I think it's a really good brand. I'm actually wearing some Lululemon pants I found at the bins just like last week. And I will list that video link up here because that was a very exciting find. But I think it's a great brand. So what sells best for me for Lululemon, because it can be a very oversaturated brand on reselling platforms, is sweaters, full or sometimes the 7/8 length leggings. And one kind of category within Lululemon that sells the best for me is men's. So I find the men's items sell for a lot more. There's less haggling and negotiating when people purchase the men's items, and so I always love to find some men's Lululemon. So I sold 180 Lululemon items so far this year, which is just mind-blowing. My average sales price is $32.92. So even though the market can be saturated, if you're picky and smart with what you're picking up, as well as your pricing strategy and how you describe the items, if you can get that style name, that really helps. I think Lululemon is still a really good pickup. All right, and the number 1 bread and butter brand that sold for me this year so far for the most is Spanx. So I think most people know about Spanx. It's a kind of shapewear brand that's pretty well known, but I specifically love to pick up their leggings. Their jeggings have done okay for me, but their like booty boost leggings sell incredible for me, as well as their maternity. They also make maternity pieces, and those have flown out of my closet super fast. So I have sold only 18 Spanx items this year, but those 18 have garnered an average sales price of $33.41. So I will pick up Spanx as long as I can find it pretty cheap, no matter what. I've even sold some not intentionally. I missed a flaw, but I have sold some with flaws before. But I will not pick up Assets by Spanx or Assets by Sarah Blakely. Those I cannot give away, but these specific actual Spanx brand items, I will definitely pick up. Okay, and then one last number I want to give you. So in thinking about these items, they are items that I find frequently, and they are items that don't always sell for the most money, but you guys saw the average sales prices that I get from these brands. The last number I want to leave you with is that these brands so far in 2023 have sold for $18,078.70. Yeah. So if you weren't picking up these brands, I would definitely recommend looking into the brand a little bit more, testing out a few pieces to see what sells best for you. And let me know in the comments if you have any other bread and butter brands that sell well for you that maybe we can all start to look for. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.